This is a quarantine episode, so it just feels weird. I miss my fake white wall. Stuck with my real white wall. Yeah. This week in history, where in the world is Benito Mussolini's corpse? 1945. The fascist demagogue, who styled himself as Il Duce, had become the most wanted man in the country by 1943. After losing almost every campaign the Italians were involved in, he was personally fired by King Victor Emmanuel III and escorted by the military he purported to command up to a ski resort on Gran Sasso in order to be tried by the occupying Americans. Hitler and his forces, though, realized losing Mussolini means losing the Italian army. Therefore, the SS planned a rescue from Gran Sasso. The SS paratroopers pulled him out in a daring escape, setting him up in a puppet state in northern Italy, with commands not to fail them again. Benito Mussolini himself was losing hope. In an interview in January 1945, he said, 7 years ago, I was an interesting person. Now, I'm little more than a corpse. And how right he was. On April 28th, communist partisans found Mussolini and his mistress in the back of a truck trying to escape into Switzerland. They executed him and hung his body up in the square in Milan, where protesters threw rotten fruit and bricks at the famed dictator. The occupying American forces weren't super jazzed about the violent mob forming, and so took his body down and buried it in an unmarked grave. You would think that would be the end for Mussolini, but no. The dictator never allowed to die was dug up the next year by fascist loyalists, who led it on a 4-month cat-and-mouse chase with the Italian police until it was finally tracked down to a graveyard behind an old monastery. The Italian government managed to keep Mussolini's body secret for another 11 years, but in 1957, right-wing activists successfully petitioned the government to dig up his body and reinter it at the Mussolini family tomb. Italian fascists celebrated and saluted as Mussolini's body was buried in its final resting place. They had successfully defended their dictator far better than any Italian had during his lifetime. You've probably heard the expression, say what you will about Mussolini, but at least the trains ran on time. They didn't, actually. The trains didn't run on time. He brought foreign journalists onto the only trains that did run on time, and all the other trains were just as bad as they had been in Italy before. That's your classic fascist problem, right? You put on a set of gold paint on a Potemkin village, and you say you fixed the whole country. Say what you will about Mussolini, but the trains ran on time, and lots of people died, and he invaded Ethiopia? What was he doing? What? You know, I'll say what I will about Mussolini. The guy's a jerk. Meh. Don't worry, more HistoryNet content to come. Stay tuned.